Morning and welcome to video 8 of Making Music with Code. This video delves more into chords, different ways of making chords. As a recap, chords are one or more notes played together. In a 6-string guitar, if you hit a chord, especially open string chord, you might be playing 6 notes. If you're playing the piano, you might be playing 3 notes. If you're playing 3 notes to make a chord, it is called a triad. This is where we ended up last week. We had 4 chords being played with some bass. As a quick recap, if you create a note and then sound, if you do it without commas, it plays the notes individually. Those bass notes are being played individually. However, if you do the same thing and put commas in between the notes, the system plays it as a chord. The notes are played all at the same time. You have commas to separate out the notes, but you don't need a comma there. I don't think it'll make any difference. I think it will still play it okay. Will it? No, it doesn't like it. We're going to hit lists, possibly next video, and that comes into play again. So you have commas to separate out the notes, but not on the last one. Incidentally, pasting the code into Google description throws up an error if I include the chevrons, right angle brackets, arrowheads, whatever you call them. So when I paste code into the description under the video, then I have to take these chevrons out. It shouldn't matter at this stage. It might come into play a bit later on, but if you want to double check, you can always compare the code that is written in the description. Now, see, it does make a material difference because these right-angled brackets, arrowheads, chevrons, whatever you call them, keep everything in time. It tells the system that you want these things played in time. So, with them, you get all 4 bass notes to each chord. Take them out, and it doesn't keep to that timing. It'll play that one chord to one note. So unless it's very simple music, it will make a material difference. Just be aware that they might not be included in the code that's pasted in the description. Okay, so let's have a look at this. 2 chords played through a piano, bit of decay, bit of reverb. So what does it mean? Notes on a piano keyboard are laid out like this. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and not forgetting the black notes, the sharps and the flats. So C, 2 notes, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 notes altogether. And to go from this C to the next C, you would have to play 12 notes, or perhaps 11 to get to it. There's 12 notes between this C and the next C, 12 notes between this D and the next D. If you want to go from C to E, as in what we're playing here, C to E, there is not C to E, it's not 2 notes, it's these 2 notes up here as well. Okay? So if you're going to count from C to E, you're not just doing C to E 1, 2, you're doing C 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the 3 means the third time. The 3 means the third time this sequence appears on the keyboard from the left-hand side. So that group of, where is it? That group of 8 or 12, closed down now. So that 3 after the note indicates that's the third time this sequence of keys appears on the keyboard, counted on the left-hand side. So 1 will be lower notes, 6, 7, or 8 will be the higher notes, and 3 is the third time this whole sequence appears. Finally, the sharps and flats. So C, C sharp, D. So C sharp is halfway between C and D. But if you're counting backwards, it can be D flat. It can be 1 below D. So C sharp is 1 above C, and D flat is 1 below D, but they are the same note. They're just called slightly different things depending on preference. So, in theory, if we change, that is E flat. Let's take that out briefly. Just play that. If I change that to D sharp, it shouldn't make any difference. And indeed, it does not. They are the same note, they're just called different things at different times. Now, the possible problem with this situation is that if you want to make this a bit higher, perhaps it's got the singer is singing a bit higher, so you need to move things up the scale of the keyboard. It can get complicated. Likewise, you say, oh no, that's too high, I want to make it lower. So if I wanted to make this higher, I would have to edit each note individually. Okay, and this one, you've got 2 on this, and then on the 3rd octave, and this one's on the 4th octave. Okay, you've got to have the wherewithal to sort it out, and you have to have an appreciation of the notes and where they sit, and that D sharp is the same as E flat. What if there was a better way? And by better, I mean, of course, different. Well, there is. There's the midi notation, which is another way of playing notes. We met briefly a couple of videos ago, and it's another way of doing chords. It has some advantages, has some disadvantages. Let's have a look at this. Got a single chord, just as we had just now, with the E flat on 3rd here, piano. And below it here is written in MIDI notation, and it is exactly the same. What MIDI notation does is count up from the left-hand side, key 1 all the way up. So C3 is the 48th key in this system, and the interval, or the difference between C3 and E flat, is 48, 59, 50, 51. And let's just see if that is correct. Let's get my just see if that looks right. So difference between C3 and E flat, starting from 48, 48, 49, 50, 51. So yeah, it does work. It will probably work from the C to the G, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. So the MIDI system just numbers all the notes from the left-hand side. which you may find easier. It's horses to courses. You do whatever works for you. I'm going to show an adaptation to the system now. So potentially this would be easier to move things up. You could just move everything up one note just by adding one to each one of those, and you could take it up an octave. So this C is C3 is 48, add 12 to it to get to C4. And that works, and that works fine. But again, that's complicated. Another way of doing it is to have the root notes and then the addition being where it appears on the keyboard, retaining the intervals between the notes. Well, that sounds complicated. It'll be easier when I show it to you. So here we have another line of code. And I put the second, I've done it for the other two lines as well. I put the second chord in there as well. And this is MIDI notation again, but this time what we do is write the root and then the interval, so how many notes up. And then we add how many notes we want to go up the keyboard. So this is 0, add 48 to it, so that becomes the 48th. 3, add 48 to it, and that becomes the 51st, which is equivalent to the C3 E flat. For the second chord, we're adding 53 to it. So 53 and 0 gives you 53. And it'll sound exactly the same as the others. And you can pick whichever one you want to play with. It is just a different way of doing things, and you pick whichever way fits you and whichever way works with you. The advantage of this last way of writing MIDI notation is that you don't to change the scale, to move it up and down the keyboard is a lot easier, in that you don't have to add 12 or 6 or 8 to the individual numbers. You can just change this number here. So if this first chord is written, it's a C3, and if I want to change this to C4, I can just add 12 to it. 48 and 12 gives you 60. And if I want to take it down, I can change it to 36, being 48 minus 12, and that should work. There you go. But other than that, they will sound exactly the same. They're just different ways of writing the same thing. And I keep on saying, you do whatever fits you. Now, if you notice, I'm having to comment out lines, left, right, and center to make the right note play. They all play together absolutely wonderfully. But to isolate each one, I'm having to comment out lines, and I'm having to manually make them play sequentially. Yes, sequentially, so that you can hear that they are the same notes. Next video, I will show you how you can play things consecutively. Okay, so I can play that one, then when that finishes, play that one, then when that finishes, play that one. It's not much time in this video. I will show you in the next video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I will paste this code in the description. Bear in mind that these chevrons are not going to be there, so you're going to have to put those chevrons in. Thank you, and I will see you next video when I'll show you how to play these sequentially, i.e. one after each other.